Hi. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
My
This is
girl.
Unfiltered Truth, where we talk about everyday topics. We know that the relationship topic is like a huge thing because everybody's looking for their Ruth and Boaz, but don't like Ruth, but don't like Boaz. Single, but not single, situation ships, so on and so forth. So we'll unpack that as the conversation go on. Today, I have with me.
The illustrious Kame Curry. Let's start it off right. I am a real estate investor, owner of Kame Capital Group, as well as Rising Waters Management. I do dibble and dabble in law enforcement for those who know me. I have a online presence as well as I do workshops, public speaking, keynote speaking, webinars, panels, you name it, I'll talk about it, except for politics. I will stay away from that. And then my biggest thing is generational wealth building. That's what the bottom line is for me in all that I do. So that's the 1-2 about you, girl.
Oh, okay. Today we'll be talking about accountability and victimhood. I think we are so stuck in victimhood. For every aspect of our life, it is somebody else's fault. And at one point, it was me too. I would call, complain, this person did that, that person did this, and everybody was wrong but me. I think we're stuck in victimhood. If you tell somebody something that they don't agree with, you're a hater. Tell them something they don't want to hear, you're a hater, right?
Hmm.
And same thing goes with the relationships. Nobody wants to be told what to do. There is no form of accountability.
Listen,
Yep.
so let's be clear because when you sent me what the topic was, I felt victimized right then and there because that accountability piece is what I find most people at work, outside of work, in the different organizations that I'm in, like in my personal life, in real estate, and all of the things. Nobody wants to take accountability for their part in the process. Nobody wants to take accountability for what they did wrong or what they could have done better so that they can then make adjustments so that you don't do the same thing and rinse and repeat for the rest of your life. A lot of people rather stay stagnant and play the victim and woe is me and how could you talk to me like that? Meanwhile, you hold out of line and out of pocket and you don't want to recognize it because now you want to play off of what my response was. But wait a minute, how did we get here in the first place? And how do you stop getting here with every other person that you encounter because you learn how to watch your tongue, you learn how to make decisions that actually make sense, to actually put 1 plus 1 and get 2 and not 10 and then go to 10 and then expect that it's somebody else's fault that you got there.
Once I respond, now you the victim. And now I'm mad because you
How
brought it up. So now I'm in the car and I'm like, God, I know we said we're supposed to do better. I remember one time in the car when I was having my little prayer session, I said, I'm human. It was like you were born human. So we're going to keep making this excuse about you being human and you being triggered and responding to foolishness.
listen,
Oh,
that I'm human and people make mistakes and all of that can be true. We are human, we do make mistakes, it's part for the course, but to keep making the same and similar mistakes and you ain't at any point in time recognizing what your role is in it. Like at some point, you got to stop and evaluate your internal clock, what's going inside of you, what's going on inside of your head. Like you said, the triggers, because most people don't even recognize that they have triggers, where they stem from, and how to actually act what you see. Like, okay, you stepping on that thing, you strumming on that thing. I have an issue with being abandoned, and now you're canceling on me, and so now I feel abandoned. You struck that trigger, and now I'm responding because now you don't care nothing about me, and you say you this, you that, whatever, whatever, and now we in a whole argument because I got a flat tire, or because my mama called and she have an emergency. Like now, all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy because you feel abandoned, and it's really that you haven't done the work to even figure out that that's that emotion that you're feeling. You're not angry because I'm not showing up. You bad. We had a little argument. You're like that little 5-year-old girl who, daddy ain't show up to take you to the movies, and now you feel some type of way about me not showing up for you.
What people fail to realize is you can't make the other person responsible for why you have these triggers, right? It's not my job to fix the fact that you have these triggers. It's your job to acknowledge that you have these triggers, right? And to figure out what it is that you need to do to be able to fix those triggers and be willing to have the adult conversation and say, hey, this is what I went through. This is what I'm working on. When you do X, Y, and Z, this is what it makes me feel like. Listen, waiting on me trying to figure out why you triggered, you're gonna be highly upset because I'm gonna ask you, hey,
Once or
what's
twice,
wrong?
baby, and you want to say nothing with an attitude, it could be nothing. It could be nothing. But
Hey,
but I was just watching it wasn't like a TED talk, it was a podcast on YouTube, and this was a man who specializes in relationships, and he was talking, and so the lady was talking about how, like, she would come home from traveling, and she's been gone from home a week, and she comes home and the flowers are dead in the vase. Husband laid up in the bed. And every time she came home and the flowers are dead, now she's upset. Now you didn't have the courtesy of, one, getting rid of the dead flowers, but two, putting new flowers in there so I could come home to something nice, something to make me feel like recognized and seen. So instead, she wants to take the flowers out the vase. She's gonna slam them in the trash. She gonna do the absolute most so that he can feel the anger that she feels, even though she doesn't say anything. So now you want to act out. Now you want to have a tantrum because what you wanted isn't what happened. But at no point in time did she say, like, babe, like, when I come home and I see the dead flowers, like, it hurts my feelings. It makes me feel like I'm not seen. It makes me feel like I'm not cared for. It's something so small, but it really does. It affects me. And I know my bad for wilding out. And showing out or complaining like, dang, you let the flowers just sit on the counter dead. You done did all of this as opposed to having an articulate conversation to communicate what you are feeling, to express what your needs are. Now, my problem comes in when I've expressed my needs and I've communicated and you still on that same stuff.
we also have to remember that what's important for one person is not important for
It's
another. So
right.
that's why you have to have a conversation. At the point that you sit down and say it hurts my feelings, it's gonna be so much a personal problem. Because why are we throwing tantrums
So
about some
that is
flowers?
where
That's your last set of flowers. How about
But
that?
here's the thing, and so to listen, because some flower conversations have been had about a couple weeks ago, and I
Yes.
think that's where for me and what I've learned and what I've grown into in
Mhm.
my whole adulthood at this point is it's not enough just for me to communicate. I need to have a partner who is willing to do the same
Yeah.
so that we can have a conversation so that now he feels like he's in a safe space to be able to say, well, listen, you came in here like a little tornado. And after the way that you acted, I don't want to give you no flowers. You could come to the house and the counter could be bare,
Yeah.
because you make me feel like I'm never doing enough because I bought the flowers in the first place. But you're not giving me credit for that portion of it. But
Mhm.
it has to be a conversation two-way, and sometimes I think that when we get in these relationships, it's one of those things where at some point you have to help guide each other, and
Mhm.
if you have a partner, because listen, I wasn't always, and I still struggle with making sure that I have open communication, right? But I was one of those people who I would internalize. And I would say, "Hey, listen, this is bothering me. Hey, this is bothering me." After the third time that this is bothering me, guess what? I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna get it done myself. I'm
Mhm.
never going to say it again, and I'm gonna just let that eat and fester and fester and fester. Well, that's not healthy. That's
It's
not
not,
healthy or for the relationship.
but at the same time, I think where a lot of us have problems with, I know what I have problem with is Yes, you do need to have those necessary conversations. But I think a lot of us are coming into spaces with other people and not having a form of that consideration. Like you said, I bought you the flowers, you know? Were you that excited as you were mad when you came back and saw that they were dead?
Mhm.
Right. And if you left on Friday and you came back on Sunday and they were dead, they probably was dead when you left. So are you waiting for me? Listen, so are you waiting for me to throw the flowers out after I bought the flowers? Like, what is going on here? And I think we find and nitpick the smallest little things to create a issue out of. I would buy the flowers. You want me to throw them out. You want me to put the water in the vase. You want me to do everything. And I think we have come into a point as women, right? And I know people say, well, men do this and men do that every time we have conversations about relationships, us as women, and it goes vice versa. Man to say over the woman, the woman to say over the man. We're not having enough conversations where we're only focusing on what we are doing to correct what we are doing instead of focusing on what the man is doing. Right. So we're not taking that necessary consideration all the time. I'm pretty sure some people are, but all the time to where we're not throwing the tantrums off of every little thing. And then when you have conversations with them, oh well, I used to date so and so and they used to do the same thing. Listen, your feelings gonna be hurt if I trigger you and you gonna tell me what Keisha used to do this, how
Now
Keisha.
I'm triggered. So you triggered and I'm triggered. And Keisha could be triggered too while we at it. So if that's what we're doing. And I think that a lot of people, I won't just
Mhm,
say men, but I think a lot of people will play the comparison game.
mhm,
And whether it is intentional to trigger that person to be spiteful, to make them jealous.
mhm,
Now, oh well, if Keisha's so good, then why don't you go with her then? Or it's one of those things where you're trying to articulate to me and you're doing a piss poor job of it, of saying, hey, this person, what I did appreciate in that relationship was that she did this.
I don't want to hear about what she did.
And but to recognize the fact that the way that you package that doesn't need to involve Keisha. Her name doesn't need to come up. And you saying, like, listen, I know XYZ, you said you tired, this and that,
Mhm,
but where can we compromise? Because I really like this particular thing is important to me. So
mhm,
where can we compromise in it? So maybe you're not doing it once a week, you're
mhm,
doing it twice a week. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like, but it still goes right back to not just communicate, because a lot of people communicate, but the way in which they communicate becomes the problem. Because
Yeah.
now you want to tell me what you got a problem with, but I got a problem with your tone. So now I'm in a space where I can't receive what you're saying because there's a distraction there. And now I'm ready to return that in kind. Like, you want to talk to me any kind of way, I can return the favor. And now we're not getting anywhere.
And I have a bad habit, so I'll say excuse me. So I'm big on not being disrespectful. And then you continue. I'm like, do you want to have this conversation later? And you continue. I done blacked out. At this point, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna buy at the grocery store because like I'm done.
Let's back up though. Let's back up because, and I had this happen with someone, and it was not recognizing that the excuse me in itself can be derogatory. Like the way I receive your excuse me
Mhm.
can be like, oh, you checking me? You checking me.
Excuse.
So that's what,
So
are
excuse
you
me.
saying excuse me? And yeah, listen, and did you see how your eyes just went up and your head was
No,
like, yeah, I say,
no, the excuse me was, and I'm gonna give you a look, right? Excuse me was to check your tone, right? Because I'm
mm-hmm.
saying excuse me because as a woman talking to a man, right? And you know how I like my men. I like them very much so masculine. I like them very much so King Kong, baby. So I'm gonna say excuse me instead of, oh, I think you need to check your tone, right? Because I know when I say that, it's not gonna come off like it should come off. So I might be like,
So
excuse
the
me,
excuse me is,
watch your mouth.
I have a problem with how you just presented that information, sir.
Yes, a lot of this stuff will be discussed ahead of time, but excuse me,
Mhm.
and then if you want to continue to have it at this point, because one, I don't like to argue anyway. And if I was to argue, it's just such a turnoff for me to argue with a man. If you want to turn me off, you sit there and argue like, and by the time we finish going backwards and forward, I don't know that I find you attractive anymore. I don't know that I find you attractive because I need you to say what you mean what you say. Like, once I said, okay, babe, I could have threw the flowers away on Friday. I do love the fact that you brought me the flowers. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for being mindful that you know that I like the flowers and that you brought them. Mwah, 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 mwah. However, if I'm out of town and you see them there, go ahead and throw them out for your girl, right? Because then I want the memory of the flowers to be alive. You throw them a little spice or whatever, but can you throw them away? But at the point that you come in here, I don't want my person throwing tantrums. Like, wait a
Mhm.
minute. There's a reason I don't want no more kids, baby. Mine's grown. So if you unable to tell me what's wrong with you and you walk around here throwing tantrums or whatever, sir, you know, I might not. I forgot how the lady say when we start dismissing people, the perfect way of saying it. Our lives are not aligned. For the future spaces that I'm trying to be in. Girl, I can't a man throw a tantrum and argue. No, baby, tell me, come here, Shatar. Yes, baby. This is what I need. Gotcha. All that other extra stuff. Why? Because if I'm here, that means that I'm willing to take heed on what it is that you're saying.
But that also means that the person is willing to
Mhm.
acquiesce. That means they say, "Shatara, this is what I need." You say, "Okay, babe, I'm gonna try." And here we're there. This is where we
Mhm.
want, right? With some synergy in our relationship. But we're not just talking about our accountability because we know what we would do. But the
Yeah.
average person, the average male, female, when having this conversation, how are they really showing up?
But see,
Because in my experience, everybody is not sure enough. And
but you
now we
know,
have to say, I do not believe that we are aligned. And you go your way, I'll go mine, no hard feelings.
if we're going to talk about people in general. So the thing that keeps coming up is money. Money, 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 money.
Hmm.
I've never met so many broke rich folks in my life, right? Because that's not even a thing for me. Like we're not even having the conversation because when we start talking about, hey, what do you do? In my mind, or maybe it's my research capabilities,
I
I
already
already
know how much you make.
know.
I already know clerk of courts how much you paying for child support.
I already know. So,
I done
you
carried the
know,
one already.
I did. And I know you missed the last two payments. What are we doing? But I'm not even having those conversations. So I think the reason why the women say, oh, well, we want the men or the 60s or whatever have you. I think I was watching the video. I think the older women presented themselves better as to why it was easier for men to want to spend money. When I used to talk to my aunt said that we're so prideful that we'll fill up the refrigerator and everything with our last dollars. The man won't think we need them. Back in her day, he came to the house with the empty refrigerator. I would have cooked for you, but I don't have no food. And that was just it. And then she gonna go get a week worth of groceries, and you gonna eat for that one meal, but the kids and everybody gonna eat for the whole week. And remind you,
Listen, we can't do that. Not your turn. You're gonna have DCF knocking on the door like, "Hey, hold
no,
on a
but that's what
second."
she was saying. Cause let's just say the man came over on the weekend or whatever. You shop for the week for the groceries. By the time he come in, no groceries. You can't eat my kids' groceries. But we're gonna go to the store. I'm gonna buy what I'm gonna cook for you, and then you're gonna make sure the whole week is taken care of. Most men won't have any issues doing it. Thank you. You
Mhm.
know, and that's how they got stuff done with the lights, the AC, the cable. Let them sit up in there with no cable. Cause one thing about it, They gonna come because I remember my AC broke, baby. It was hot in there. His big 6+ self lay right in there. We both in there. Guess what he went and did? Went and bought a wall AC. Cause when it's hot, baby, I can't have you in my personal space while it's hot.
Mhm.
It's too hot for you to. It's too hot for you to be over here in my space. Honey, when I got that wall AC real quick, cool down in there real quick. You hear me? Thank you. Anything else you want? So it's just they say we don't know how to ask. Nobody wants to feel like they're a walking piggy bank.
Mhm.
Oh, you gonna give me this? Oh, you gonna get my nails done? Oh, you gonna get my hair done? It's just as ghetto. It gives very much so peasant vibes.
And I can speak for me as far as my contribution to the plight of the economic status between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not know how to ask. And here's what I learned through years of therapy. I had go to therapy on and off constantly throughout the year. I need somebody to check my baseline and make sure I'm still, I'm going steady. And when my therapist talked to me about me harboring resentment because my person wasn't doing automatically, but I wasn't asking. And initially, my response is like, well, listen, at the end of the day, I don't need nobody. I can get done whatever I need done. And it went back to a childhood of, going shopping at Goodwill and, the nonprofits are the ones who bought my little junior high dress and always being gifted and given and donated to as a child. And now here it is, I'm whole grown and I don't want to need anybody for anything. And I don't want anybody to feel like they have something over me or I can't manage without them. So I've done the work. I know where that comes from. It's still difficult for me to ask anybody for anything, but I'm better at it. But I think that especially as Black women, there is a level of pride that,
Mm-hmm.
we have excelled, we have succeeded, and we can operate completely autonomously without needing someone else. And I'm in a space right now where I need someone who wants to do for me without me having to ask for every single thing because of how I'm built, because I don't need your money to get my nails done, but I do want it. Like I do, I would appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that balance between, do I need you? No. Do I want you, for all that you bring, not just financially? Yes. Being in that space and then having a partner who recognizes that and is in tune, because one thing I do, I'm a giver and I need somebody who is 10 toes deep in reciprocity at that point. But a lot of people struggle with the ask. And I find we're in I don't want to say a generation of people, but I do find that we have um, groups who are on opposite spectrums, men who don't feel like they should have to, and women who ask incessantly. And then you end up with groups who just feel used and abused in
Mm-hmm.
the in between.
I think we should start having the necessary conversations in the beginning. Hey, I like to feel cared for and taken care of. And taken care of doesn't necessarily mean you're spending thousands of dollars. It can be those little and small things if you see the things that I like. And while I'm at the store, if I see the things that you like, I want to be able to get those things so that you can have them readily available when you come to my house. If I know you like to bathe with this specific soap, and half the time you don't even have to bring your own night bed, but that's only for certain people though. And
Listen, to be
it's
clear,
only certain
there
people,
are
baby.
I've been there, done that, got a t-shirt. There will be no night bags coming over here.
So,
There-
well, uh, so well, not
Listen,
now.
somebody
Some
told me
toiletries, but
I say stuff. and let the right person come, and everything that I say I won't do, all of a sudden I'm making concessions. But anyway,
Yep.
go ahead.
And the
What
whole
you
left side of the dresser, this his side. Don't put nothing in there that's not his over here. I just think we fail because we don't have the conversations because we don't want to look less than. And what I'm saying is for the next time when it's time for me to settle down, I want to be able to feel like I'm in that safe space to be able to have the conversations that I'm uncomfortable with.
Mhm.
And I want him to feel like he's in a safe space. And if we're dating and I feel like I'm not that safe space for him, I'm gonna have those conversations. If I see at a period of time that he's not willing to have them, and if I feel like he's worth doing the therapy and all that for, we'll go through that process. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to move on because there's nothing worse than being with or around someone who does not feel safe with you. Because guess what? If a man don't feel safe with you, he's gonna find somebody else to feel safe with because he's
Mhm.
gonna have to release whatever he's thinking about mentally that is stressing him out. And a lot of times that's gonna end up with the coworker who's gonna be the nicest person in the world, not realizing that this girl don't have to deal with the worst of you. She's
Mm.
only dealing with the great things that you tell her that you do, which half of it don't be the truth anyway. They be sitting there, I told her she don't do this, she don't do that. You ain't told that girl that
How
you ain't taking half
emotional
of your
it is.
responsibility. How emotional draining you are. Your EAP at the house. You
Mm.
don't say that, but that's a whole nother story. I can go into that because no one is telling the person that they're talking to outside their relationship. A lot of times, most of the times, that's a problem. Me and you
Mhm.
do. You know, I call you like, girl, I did.
I did it anyway, friend. I did it.
We said we wasn't gonna do this and that. You know, we don't
But
mature in
yeah, I
doing
did
that.
it. I did it. I
We
did it, and
we did it,
probably would do it again if given the
and,
opportunity.
and we'll. But God's still working on us, so we. I won't. You know, he
You
done
know
set
what?
me
That
some time.
still ends up going back to that accountability piece. Because one thing I
Mhm,
can say about us is it's no holds barred.
mhm,
If we did it, we did it. We said it, we said it, you know. And if I know, okay, she gonna give me a lecture, it's okay because I earned it, you
mhm,
know, and you'll help keep me accountable. And I believe that we've been more intentional about surrounding ourselves with people who we can be truthful
mhm,
with and
mhm,
will hold us accountable because
mhm,
I think that also is a factor as well. Because I've seen some people who were in my relationship, third party experience. And so now I realize like I can be doing all of the work. I can be accountable. I can be doing everything. My friend group can be receptive and tell me like, no, you know, if he said that he doesn't like this, that, and the third, you should be trying to acquiesce. You should be trying to make an effort. So don't just be like, oh, whatever, because that's not what I want to do. Like you gonna tell me no, friend, that's not how relationships work. But if the people on the other end are telling him like, oh yeah, because you shouldn't have to deal with that, and the work wife is saying he's right, he's right, he's right, and there's nobody on his end keeping him accountable, and
mhm,
so he's lacking. Because I've seen a couple people where their circle is the reason why I would never deal with them because you seem like you might be all right, but this one to your left and to your right, I know better.
mhm. Mm-mm.
Know
And
better.
it won't definitely won't date you seriously. And they're like, well, I'm still trying to figure myself out. That's all right, baby, because this ain't going nowhere. If we go out on this date, we gonna be telling
And
each other
I'm
the same thing. Cause baby, don't.
listen, no, I can
'Cause-
refer you to my therapist is what I can do. Like you gotta do you gotta do your own work. I've done mine. I've done the work that I need to do. And so now I'm in a space right now where if I am even thinking about dating a guy who isn't willing to entertain the thought of therapy, couples counseling, individual counseling, family counseling, that is a turnoff for me because I feel like you are not in a emotionally secure place,
Hmm.
a place that will allow you to be vulnerable because therapy makes you vulnerable.
Yes, it
And
does.
if you can't tap into that vulnerability so that you can learn what makes you tick and what your triggers are
Mhm.
and some things that maybe you need to recognize that you need to work on or learn that, hey, you need to vocalize these things with your partner. If you're not in a space that will allow you to do that, because I'm going to go and I'm going to say, well, he said that this and if my
We'll
therapist
tell me
say,
everything.
if my therapist and my therapist, y'all, she don't play with me. She do it so sweet. She do it so sweet. She'll be like, May, well, so how does that serve you in the relationship? And I be like, it don't, but it feels like it feels right. It feels amazing. So she'll force me into a space where I have to recognize where my faults are, what I'm allowing to happen because it's more comfortable for me because I don't want to address it. And I need someone who is also willing to put in some work. You don't have to be in the therapist's office every week unless you need it. Um but I feel like there are so many people who won't put that work in, won't be open to, you know, having those conversations, whether I'm there or not, whether you have a private session or whether it's both of us. And if that's what it takes, because I don't argue. I'm not big. I laugh and joke too much to be trying to argue with somebody. And I don't be pressed for much. So
Mm-mm.
like I'm not pressed because hanging out with the boys at the bar. Like I'm not pressed about stuff that maybe some other people are. But there still is accountability that needs to take place. And if you're not willing to do the work, whether it be having a conversation with therapists, having a decent friend group that will actually guide you into a place of mature decision making, or just simply being able to communicate with me and be truthful and honest about how you're feeling with me, this ain't gonna work because I'm gonna tell you the truth. They can't.
Listen, depending on his friend group is depending on how many times he have to go. Your friend group good and basic, baby. I might need you to go every 2 weeks. We're gonna have to put this in our monthly bills because who?
Listen,
Because have you ever met someone, and I'm pretty sure the men have this too, right? Have you ever met someone and it's like they always having bad days?
mhm.
Like, so you're exhausted. You have to
Listen,
be there.
that victim, I'm telling you, that victim mentality, and I've seen it that where everybody is of offense to you. Everybody is moving with you in mind,
Mhm.
and you're on at the top. So many people swear like posts are about them and comments are about them, and oh, they changed this or that at work, and that's about it's personal to me,
Uh,
as opposed to it's just part of the process. This has nothing to do with you, but because you got your heart right here on your sleeve, everything is an offense.
yeah,
Ain't
like,
nobody thinking about you. Ain't nobody checking for you. Meanwhile, what are you doing for yourself?
and my thing is, and if I was, it's still none of your business. What people fail to realize, when a person feel, and let's be clear, if a person don't come tell you how they feel about you, it's none of your business. Like, who cares? And that's why I said with the whole hater thing, people are starting to get on my nerves. Nobody is hating on you. No one's hating on you. You're not even that important. Cut it out. Like all of it just starts to get on my nerves. And you be like, who's hating? Like, what is going on now? All of us have the same thing in this space. Like, I don't know
Listen,
why everybody think everybody is
I
hating.
think that people a lot of
You're
times
not
feel like
even.
they're more important than what they really are. So you feel like you are important in these various people's lives and in their decision making. Meanwhile, like if I make a post about, not liking something, it's probably related to food or clothes or like somewhere I went and traveled to. Like it's not about you. It's simply not. And even if it is, like you said, that's for them to work on. Like I'm sitting over here feeling like I'm at my peak. I'm at my prime. I am happy, thank God. Like I'm in a peaceful space. I know that things will happen and I'll have trials and things that I have to push through. And by God's grace, I know when they come, I'll push through them. So for me, when I wake up, I don't wake up with hatred in my heart. I don't wake up with nobody else on my mind. Like, listen, first of all, I'm just trying to drag myself out of the bed and put these 2 feet on the floor so I can get ready. Like, listen, some people truly, truly do wake up like with hatred on their heart, with people and issues and situations festering, and those I feel like a lot of times are those same people who can't take accountability for why they're projecting these feelings.
And the crazy thing about it is, most of the time when people say they're jealous, it's a couple of things. That is looks. Oh, she jealous because I look this way. Half the time, don't even be that cute, right?
Listen, back to accountability.
So we already talked about the lack of communication. So communication is key. Being direct, meaning what you say, watching your tone, watching your mannerism on how you receive the message, being able to retain what they're saying and being willing to compromise so that you guys can meet in the middle. So that's
Hmm.
communication. Another thing could be cheating, allowing other people in your space. For me, and it's just me, I'm territorial. A lot of people be like, oh, she's jealous. No, I'm territorial because you done came over here and you said you wanted to be in a relationship with her, me, right? Then it can't be nobody else. Like, why do you need your homegirl to come tell you about me? She don't know anything about me. And what men fail to realize, when you have those single friends, a lot of them stay and play their role as long as they know that the person that you're entertaining, you're going to play games with them. At the moment they find out that you're with the person that you might settle down with, they got feelings. Now
Hmm.
they're going to have everything negative to say to put doubt in your mind because I didn't care about you dating all these other people because I knew you didn't like them for real. But I know you like her for real. Right?
Hmm.
So when you come tell me stuff about her, I might intentionally or unintentionally say certain things because my feelings are hurt. So another thing is cheating, being mindful of the spaces that you allow yourself to be in, watching how you respond to the opposite sex, and don't put yourself in places you're not supposed to be in.
See, I struggle with that simply because like I've been a tomboy, like elementary, high school, like I've been one of the guys up until high school, my 12th grade year when I got my hips. And I used to be, chilling with the football team, and they're like, nah, you can't chill with us no more. And I did not understand why that was. Like, why I can't come and hang out with y'all no more? And so now I realize, okay, yeah, I got thick just on the bottom half. Ain't nothing happened with the top. But now in my adulthood, I have still kind of migrated to having a lot of male friends. They're not as dramatic. I don't feel like I'm judged. I feel like I can be myself. I can talk rough because listen, I'm not all daisies and all of that. So like a lot of times when I say stuff when I'm with a female group, like it comes off harsh.
Definitely not built for the weak, honey.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, because if I want to say something about, snot or throw up or whatever it is, sweat and whatever, the fellas are not phased by anything like that. So I've had to make that adjustment where My guy friends, they know if I'm in a relationship and my dude isn't super comfortable with us going to hang out or whatever, like I'm not going to be on that because at the end of the day, I'm going to, respect my relationship and respect my partner. But if he's cool with it, listen, sir, you can come too. We can all hang out. You've been out with us before.
Yeah,
Like
and
we
that's
don't want
fine. I get it, but I guess I could hang out sometime. I'm not trying to hang out with her, and y'all not going on dates. To me, it's considered a date, right? And the
so
reason why it's considered a date because you guys are both emotionally getting something out of it.
mhm.
Period. Even with
So you talking
friendships.
about like just him and her or like
No,
friend group?
I don't think you can control who you fall for. That's just me. When you put in this space, you can't control who you vibe with. You can't control a whole lot of stuff, right? You can control what you decide to do when you discover that you're feeling the person, but you can't control a lot of times how you feel about that person once you don't allow yourself to be put in that predicament, right? So it's a no for me. So usually when I have the conversation, if you feel like you're in a need to have to be with them all the time, or she's coming over to the house, why? What are we doing? I don't mind going out sometimes. Like if it's a group
Mhm.
thing, sure, every now and then. Why do I have to see her 2 times out the month?
There has to be boundaries.
That
This
is
is plain and simple.
it's
There
gonna
has
be
to be a
almost
boundary.
non-existent.
And that has to be, and it really just lends itself back to that communication piece of me articulating how I feel about this friend of yours. Like, listen, at the end of the day, I get that's your girl. I don't want another woman in my house up in your face because now I want to fight her and I don't really have no good reason. So why would we do that? Why
You
why are
know.
we putting ourselves in that position? And I also want you to be mindful of the fact that what can seem like it's innocent can
Mhm,
transition into something like the drop of a dime. And
mhm,
so how the same way I respect you and the same way I'm going to mind my manners and my mannerisms when I'm with my male friends, I expect you to do the same when you're with your friend group. So, it's just one of those things where it's communication, but at the end of the day, if that man does not have his own level of maturity already intact
mhm,
and his self-control already intact,
mhm.
because there are plenty of hot guys and beautiful women or people that we have a connection with and we laugh and kick the bobo that could easily seem like it's going to turn into a smash type of a situation.
Okay. I believe we have lost her. We'll wait and give her a few moments. I don't want my man to feel comfortable with me going to hang out with another man without him. Like, why would you want to? When we hang out with people of any sex, we're hanging out with them because there's some form of emotional connection. I like being in your space. We have something in common. There could be various reasons on why I want individuals around, both male and female. I'm not interested in my man hanging out with the opposite sex without me. And to be honest with you, I'm not interested in hanging out with your girl as friends. We could do it every now and then, but I don't really want to. Like, why? Why is it a necessity? And for me, like Kame said, I have male friends too. And when they don't hear from me, they're like, "Oh, you got you got a boyfriend," and and because we know what space that we're operating in, it's never a personal thing for us not to be talking to each other or be going out because we know we're not trying to entertain each other and we respect each other's spaces. So it's never a big deal. So for me, I'm never going for that. I'm never going for a situation to where you think that you're gonna be going out with opposite sex on a regular basis. Because what we do, we dating, just not a poly type situation. I'm not the girl for those type of spaces. I'm just really not. Mm-mm. I don't care if you know since you was two. You could still be cool. but you're not going out with one another. Like, who you with? That's all I need to know. Who you with? If it's not me, that's fine. But I'll let you go and do whatever it is you need to do. So far with the accountability conversation, we talked about communication. Remember being able to communicate. We talked about cheating. A lot of times the cheating does start with putting yourself in certain spaces, especially when you're attracted to people. Like for me, when I'm in a relationship, and I know that I'm in a group. If I am attracted to that person in any way, shape, or form, I keep the conversation brief. I'm not in his face. I don't need you in my face. I don't need to know personal things about you on how you do certain things. I don't need to know how you treat the females you treat. I don't need you catering to me. I don't need you buying me anything. I don't need you doing anything. I'm very strict on myself, so I have the same expectations for the person that I'm talking to, because what people fail to realize is we sell each other dreams. Men don't just sell women dreams. We sell, well, not we. I don't, but we sell each other dreams all the time and make you think you more than what you are. You bigger than the program. And a lot of times it's just because we want to be in the same space that girl is in. Because you done made yourself sound so good until we get in that space and realize it's ghetto over here. And I'm not as interested as I thought I was. So
Okay, I made it.
yeah, what I was talking about is I was talking about cheating. To briefly sum that up, is that a lot of times we have the issue when it comes down to cheating. It's more so of us allowing ourselves to be in spaces that we shouldn't be in. If you
Hmm.
know you're attracted to a person, and that if you weren't dating anybody, that this can be your guy or this can be your girl, then don't put yourself in this space. I also talked about how a lot of women and men sell themselves to you. And now you're excited about the idea of the person that they sold it to you. And then when you get over there, it'll be real life ghetto. You feel a real Hunger Game-ish. So it's no, this not what I thought it was. And now you don't put yourself into somebody else's situation. The same thing with the women who date the married men. They don't realize a lot of them coming up dead. Cause baby, I I don't built this over here, you know, and I'm not saying that it's acceptable, because it's never acceptable to take somebody else's life. But you can't involve yourself in other people's situations and don't think that there is a possibility of a consequence.
So
At the end of the day, there could be a possible consequence. Whether it's like people say karma, when it's time for you to settle down, the same thing happens to you. And listen, I'm no angel by far, but I'm just saying in this big age, I'm just not interested in playing those types of games, because people are harming other people for you coming into their spaces. And especially if you knew their situation, stay out of
mhm,
people relationships or whatever and go get your own, unless they agree, unless y'all one of them type of situations where you're gonna be the girlfriend. And
that
if
little
that's what
Polly.
y'all
Mm-mm.
listen, if y'all look into it, it ain't none of my business. But I'm just saying, be very careful, because them couple little dollars that he about to give you could be the result of a future consequence.
Listen, at this point, I feel like there are so many people on the female side. I would say I see a lot of it being, oh, I can do it better. I can make him happy. I can outdo her in every way, shape, or form. And once I lock him in, then he's going to be mine. And then I'm going to have a man and I'm going to be satisfied and I'm going to make him satisfied. And then on the male side, it's a smash and dash. It's like, if you will let me smash you, I will.
Hmm.
So, and sometimes there are feelings and stuff involved. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times they're not trying to lead a people for you. Like, you are the good time. And like you said, it's one of those things where the other woman gets to see the best of him.
Hmm.
And I can't remember who it was. I think it was Eartha Kitt. It might have been Eartha Kitt. And she was doing an interview. And so she was saying how, like, with your husband, your man,
Hmm.
that if come home and be sweet to me, come home and be nice to me. come home and the same pretending that you did on them folks' job, the same pretending that you did to get the account, the same pretending you did to the customer at the counter. Give me that same pretend when you get home. Don't give me the harshest part of you that you done protected everybody else from. And so now you get home and you can go all in. No,
Mhm.
the same nice, sweet person that you was when you was up in them folks' office, give me that. Give
And
me that.
and that's how I feel when they be doing with the side chick. You know, over there being nice, and I got to deal with you. I don't want to hear about your day sometimes either.
Tell her
Yeah,
that. Complain to her about how you
go,
got passed up for the promotion. Complain to
yeah,
her.
go and tell her that. You know, let me go ahead and enjoy the good part. You know, I had the
give
kids
me
and
give
stuff.
me the massage.
Yeah,
Give
I don't care about none of that. Where my flowers at? You know, bring me my
mhm.
dinner and leave. You know, I was just watching something and the lady was like, they got married but stayed in two different households. And I was watching that. You know me, I'm sitting up there smiling. I said, "Oh, I think I might can do that."
That shit, they was on to something. I think Cheryl Lee Ralph,
Uh-huh.
and her
Same here.
husband. And I'm just like, I
I
can
might can do
see it.
that.
I can
Yeah.
see it. I can see,
Mhm.
especially after me having had a long distance relationship. And I feel like the distance works for me. The distance, I need to miss you sometimes. And I do feel like in that I was more accountable to making sure that I was available
Mhm.
because now the time that we have is sacred because we don't get much of it.
You know,
So, and you can't get on my nerves that fast because I only see you a couple days out the month.
but you know, I can't do the long distance. If I got to get on the plane, a train, swim the ocean, and all that. By the time I get there, I'm annoyed. And then you know, showed me all the time I need to be shown while I'm here. Now I gotta get on this plane with my head down. Cause now I'm gonna miss you. That's too much of a yeah, I'm emotionally distraught thinking about it. I don't want no parts of it. But when y'all stay in two different houses or what have you, after you don't told me about your bad day or whatever, you know, let's go get something to eat, you know, um, other things. And then I can tell you to go ahead and go home because you don't got me overstimulated at this.
Listen.
Hey, you talking about how bad your day was, and that's why I said God got to work on me because you don't came for this though, looking all good, and my mindset on something else. And now you don't sit down. Was like, babe, let me tell you what happened. I don't want to hear about this. My mind is somewhere else, sir.
Well,
Now you're just
there's the balance. There's the
Mhm.
balance between, babe, how was your day? This is how my day went. Like that should still be some reciprocity in that portion of it. So he had a day and you had a day.
Yeah,
And
but not
then
gonna mess me up. I don't care now. Don't no, don't worry about how my day is because my mind was somewhere.
no.
He didn't read the room appropriately. He didn't read you know,
No.
what
Because
Miss Rich did not read
you
the room.
still have to be there at the point in time. So say for instance, ma'am, at the point in time when I get a phone call from you
Mhm,
and your day has been all that and then some, on the negative side of things.
mhm.
And I listen to you for hours.
You stuck with me though. It's different when it's somebody
N-
else.
no, it's not because you have to be that to your person more so than anything else. Because if I call you and I've had a bad day and I'm venting, you're going to listen. So how
Mhm.
much more so are you supposed to do that for your partner?
And do listen. All I'm asking him to do is read the room when he come in sometimes. That's it. I'm gonna
So not
listen.
just not every day. So don't come every day. Like
Yeah, it's like
cause
every day
it
you
started to
say,
seem like you the problem. It started to sir, like every day it's a bad day. It's
and then now you
yeah.
got me rethinking my decisions. Like, did I
If you pick wrong,
am is my thought process jaded by something else? Like, what's going on? Because you looking a little crazy. But then But then maybe that's probably why, sometimes they don't feel safe with us because they don't feel like they
Hmm.
can have the conversation they can have. But I wouldn't tell them that. We're on here having a live, and this is
Right.
my accountability.
So
So,
we're working on your thought process.
yes, because I
Because
sit
even
there
though
and listen.
your actions are going to be present, but
Yeah,
your thought process with like, if he don't stop complaining about this,
yeah,
and
I'm
long
gonna
as
rub
your
your back.
face doesn't show it.
No, I'm gonna rub your back, and then I let them talk or whatever. And like I said, we could be in two places at once when need be. Like at the point you start getting overstimulated, because we don't talked about this for like 30 minutes to an hour now. So you don't already told me what happened, and the fact that you want to give me what everybody was thinking and what everybody said. Okay, they tried you. This is how we're gonna fix it. I done already cooked and all this type of stuff, and then you still talking about it because they had you messed up. But you still gotta do the work because that's your supervisor. So
You gonna send them home, friend. You gonna
I'm in such peace now. I don't want my peace disturbed. That's what I said. God gonna have to work on me.
I listen, you and me both, because I'm in that same space where life, you already know I'm hitting the plane in the morning, and yeah, it's nice over here. It's nice over here. And like you said, we say we want the other half, but not really.
Yeah.
Like temporarily, but not enough to get on our nerves.
Yeah, because I do want to settle down, but I want them to be able to have a conversation and to not be angry and to not have all these mental health issues, because now you carrying on so much. Now you got me second guessing myself. Like, is my discernment off? Should I be questioning myself? Is this going to hurt me in the future? Because you always have problems. So let me go ahead and set this therapy up for you. And maybe you need to go every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks instead of every month, right? And if I call you and give you my stress, right? So I can't always come home and give it to my man. Why he can't call his friend? Call your friend. Call your friend on the way home.
Listen.
Call your friend. That way I can just get the last 30 minutes of it. I don't want the full
So
thing. Like I'm stressed out now.
so maybe you have to work on your transitions. You know what, babe? I hear you. So let's shift the subject. Let's talk about something positive. What good happened today? Let's just shift the atmosphere, because I know you're frustrated. I feel it. Let's just block that out from our minds for a moment, for the night. Let's just enjoy a peaceful dinner.
But even like you said, you gotta think of the thought process, because
Mhm.
even once I done transition, low key got on my nerves. So now I want to go to sleep. Eight, you took your shower, laid down to go to sleep. Now I don't want to really be bothered that much.
So maybe
You
that's
because
where
you just
your
went.
therapy comes in.
Yeah,
Pseudo.
because you don't went through spiritual welfare. I don't know if I want.
He was attacked.
Yeah.
That man was attacked. And here he is home to his safe space that he ain't safe. He's safe for the
But
first 30 minutes, but after that, like, listen,
I'm a pray over him. But my thing is, am I safe at the point? Is what attacking you? Is that attack me?
you don't want to catch it.
Now I might catch this and I woke up. Why? And you refreshed
You know,
because I don't been battling whatever
listen.
demon you was battling.
So, I know how you can have that kind of a spiritual exchange. So I get what you're saying. I think that in a true
Mm.
invested relationship, then you have the ability to understand that this isn't this person's norm. And I don't think that we don't attract people who are everything is inherently negative. And people are going to go through things sometimes and need to talk about it. And a lot of times there are issues that it can happen once, but because it's such an aggravating thing, you talk about it for a couple days, a couple weeks. And that's where your openness has to come in to be what it is that he needs, but also to redirect him back on track.
And after
Because
that fourth time, I'm like, babe, you the problem. Cause like, what's going on? We don't talk about this lady 3 times. You the problem. Now she don't told you to do X, Y, and Z. You the problem, babe. I love you though. But you the problem. Like, what you gonna do to fix this? Because now I'm stressed out. Now you at the job function and you looking for Sarah because you want to know why Sarah got your man all the way messed up. Sarah coming up here saying hi, and I don't look at Sarah like, yell at
as
my
you
man one more
should.
time. I'm gonna mush you. This will
We
be the
not doing
last
that
function I'm
either.
invited to.
We not
Now
doing
you know
that.
I got too much to lose. I ain't gonna never put my hands on nobody. But listen, now you got me
But
and
that
Sarah
face
beefing
card,
now.
when you
You got
want Sarah to know you don't do her, she'll
mhm.
know.
Yell at my man one more time, Sarah. Uh, Play with it if you want to. Leave him alone, cause now I gotta go home, and you ain't the one who gotta go home to this Negro. I you know piss him off. Go ahead, leave him alone, please. Leave him alone. Now I need you to take accountability, Sarah. You didn't have to say it like that.
That part. But that's for him to have to address Sarah.
Yeah, I wouldn't address because
So,
that'll be yeah, that's a no no. But my
but
facial expression is
your facial expression and your body language will show that you and Sarah are not it.
something I'm gonna have to talk about in therapy because I don't know. It would be
Yeah,
so
because
worth
we sure did have a breakthrough tonight. So,
yeah. You did. I went to church and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'm gonna have to I wrote down the scriptures because you know how it is when it resonate with you, but
hmm
you feel like you need to read it again for you to grasp it and to be able
hmm
to apply it. So I might have to read the
right,
whole
to
week.
process and apply it, because it can resonate, but if you ain't gonna apply it, then
Yeah.
it ain't. Is it really serving its function?
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on the applying of the information,
hmm
that is given. And you feel it all in your spirit or whatever, but
So you're
when it's
taking
kind of
accountability
mm,
for your spiritual life.
I am. But at some point the accountability isn't enough because sometimes we know we be wrong, but we still do
hmm
it. And we like, what,
Listen,
God forgive me, thanks.
that's a whole nother conversation, because at that point it becomes willful.
Hmm.
It becomes willful. It's like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't be checking for this man. I know I shouldn't be eating this thing, and but I'm gonna do it anyway. And that is now just a conscious decision. That has nothing to do with accountability, because accountability does at least imply that you are aware and working towards change, as opposed to, yeah, I did it and I will do it again and I already have it scheduled. So
Listen, we ain't gonna talk about that. But it be like, God, especially when the person be talking to you, and you don't get to the point to where you're not responding. But while you're sitting up
hmm
there, like you said, a thought process, I'd be like, God, please get her out my face. And if people could hear the conversation that I have with God, it may have been pissed you off. And you know how you say you roast people? Girl,
hmm
I
I'm
know God
bad.
just God just took
I'm
the reins.
bad. I know
God
God be
just
in my head like, this is why you single right now. Like, I remember, you know what? No, because I don't want to get off topic. We've been on for an hour and 12 minutes. And so with us on the podcast, Unfiltered Truth, we have to be mindful, because we know that we can talk for 3 hours, like,
yeah.
easy.
But it's content. This gonna be 3 episodes and you don't even know it. You signed up for one and I got three. Can't you stand? Well, checkmate. So that's why. Thank you, content. Content for the next 3 days. Won't he do it?
Won't
And
he
he
do
will.
it?
Listen. But before we get off, let me tell you how I read her friend in my mind, right?
Mhm.
In my mind. When I tell you I read her, you hear me? From
So
calling her SpongeBob to all the 2 scoops of hair. Yeah, I only got 2 scoops of hair, you know? But when I tell you, I had went there, God was working on me. I said, God, please get her a bald head linebacker, SpongeBob looking, you know, no eyebrow having my face. Built like a triangle. Girl, leave me alone. And I was like, God, please get out of my face because I've been trying to keep the peace. I ain't say nothing to her. She just,
mhm.
they turned around and looked, and then I'm looking at her like, girl, you think you are civilized. Leave me alone, please. Oh, Dorito looking behind. Girl, bye. Get from over here. I said, always y'all bothering people.
So, in
She probably
your
talk about me because I'm big. So she probably say her fat behind, which I'm fine with, but she should have left me alone.
in your conversation on accountability,
Mm-hmm.
is there any accountability to be had in that moment?
So the accountability is that was a thought. I didn't say it. Right. So I
So
had
progress.
so I
So
didn't say
progress.
it. So it's most definitely progress. But my thought shouldn't have came to that part. And before I knew it, I was smiling because I wasn't impressed with myself. But I was like, Fred, you lay her out, did you? I felt bad about it later. So maybe that's the word accountability come in because the discernment
Mhm.
kicked in. Because it was like, she's his daughter too, right?
Mhm.
But I be wanting to ask God why they keep letting the spirit use them and then they come over here. Because I didn't ask for patience. That wasn't one of my prayers. I don't pray for patience. It wasn't my prayer. I didn't sign up for it. It's not my ministry. I didn't ask for it. So I guess this is God's way of saying, learn how to keep your mouth shut. Maybe I don't know,
Mhm.
but I
Well,
did a
so a
good
win
job.
is a win. A win is
That's
a
what I
win. You
thought it
did
was.
not say it. You did not say it. And you did reflect on it at a later time. And you thought that, if I could avoid having those thoughts to arise, those derogatory, SpongeBobish Dorita thoughts,
A whole
that,
linebacker.
that's
Cut.
what I'm going for, Lord. You
She could have been on one of
repented.
the football team. Like, you know how
Ain't
they go
shit.
to the
She could
gym.
be
Oh no,
playing
no, wait till
tomorrow.
you
They in a championship. She could be playing tomorrow, but we're not doing that. We're not going to give
no,
those
but
thoughts space
no, but you know how they pick the football players on the team.
on the draft.
I- yeah, I wanted to ask her who should I have her play because while you were out here bothering me, what team should I be playing for? Because you up here looking like you somebody starting
So,
linebacker.
so in our
But friend, she look.
transition,
Hold on, but you know how the men that go to the gym that only work at the upper body and not the glutes.
you are not making me complicit in still what you were doing is you are still roasting this person after you recognize that you shouldn't have thought it, repented to God, and now you adding more onto it. No, we're not gonna do that. We're
Because you know
not
how
gonna do that.
sometimes you get the image in your head. And
Listen,
people can't help what they look like. And like I said, I'm not everybody's cup of tea either. But you can't be mean. Like too many of us, we have mean girl spirits. And it's just ridiculous. Like, what in the world? What is going on? They be mad because you gotta talk to them. Girl, I don't want to talk to you. I'm scared of you.
are you done?
I'm scared of the spirit that is within you. You know?
We can have that conversation.
Okay. I'm done.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Okay.
done. So to do a wrap up on accountability in relationships And we really talked about just those two things, right? The accountability and the communication. Um, then we talked about the cheating, making sure you're not in certain spaces you should not be in, especially
Mhm.
with the opposite sex. And then I'm not gonna go there. And then finances, I guess, making people your piggy bank.
Mhm.
So no one is your piggy bank. Make sure you come being able to afford the things that you require. And if you are going to ask for those finances, be mindful on how you ask for them because you're not entitled for nothing just because you show up. You just simply not. And you think, oh, because he's talking to me, he might not even consider you as the person he's in a relationship with. And vice versa. Same thing with men. Don't expect something just because she showed up and ate at whatever restaurant you guys set up for. A lot of that stuff has to be agreed and discussed. Have the conversations up front. Hey, I expect for you to do X, Y, and Z. If I do X, Y, and Z, I expect X, Y, and Z. That way there's no confusion. We'd be upset for no reason when you could just tell a person what you want. So
Mhm.
so that's my spill on accountability. This is a multiple part series. Miss Kame.
My closing statement is going to be that as we began our conversation, we talked about personal accountability. So I would encourage all of your viewers to review their own internal truths
Mhm,
and evaluate what areas they are lacking accountability in and work towards improving those.
mhm. And I would go even farther is saying ask God to show you you. And when you ask God to reveal your being, your essence, your behavior, your mannerisms, and why you keep facing the same hardships, hold your head up and put your chest out. Because when He show you, it's gonna come with some hurt, and you're gonna be humiliated, even though it's gonna be between you and God. And you're gonna go through a lot of feelings and emotions. Go ahead and forgive yourself. Figure out how do you move forward and do better. But with all, we're always going to try to end with something positive. Know that you are worthy, you are needed, you are loved, and in God, you'll never be forsaken. This is the unfiltered truth. Have a blessed day.